فيض يا الطارش يا المعنى خط بكتابك الترحيب لو صار ليلك وجنة بالدجا في الليل تسري.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. إنه من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله تعالى، وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة، وكل ضلالة في النار. أما بعد, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam, today is our weekly class, Fundamentals of Tawheed, and we are talking about the Iman and the definition of Iman, and that's what we covered last time. And I hope by now you know the definition of Iman by heart, according to the belief of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. So a quick recap. The Iman نطق باللسان واعتقاد بالجنان وعمل بالجوارح والأركان يزيد بالطاعة وينقص بالمعصية. So this is the definition, and the components of Iman are mentioned in the definition. Okay, so the Iman is this utterance and articulation through your tongue, your oral testimony, and the conviction in your heart, اعتقاد بالجنان, وعمل بالجوارح والأركان, and actions by your limbs and senses. يزيد بالطاعة. This Iman increases and decreases. Increases when you do good deeds and decreases when you commit sins. Every component in the definition is supported with evidence from the Kitab and Sunnah. So the people of Ahl Sunnah, they didn't just concoct it and made up this definition. No, because they studied the entire revelation, the Quran and Sunnah, and they came up with this definition. So we are going to see the proofs for each component. Why Ahl Sunnah, they stipulated, when we say Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, Sahaba, Tabi'in, Tabi'in, the Salaf al-Salih. Because I hope, again, you are taking notes. Okay? Including the admin himself. You should take notes. The definition, when you want to define something, it has to be جامع مانع. I repeat. The definition has to be جامع مانع. What does it mean? It has to be totally inclusive and exclusive. Inclusive and exclusive. What does this mean? It means it will include only what falls under the definition. The elements that should be entered are the elements that meet the criteria and the criterion. Any element doesn't meet the criterion will be excluded. So it is totally, completely inclusive and exclusive. جامع مانع. For example, those who love math, if the math teacher said to the students, to the pupils, write a set of numbers, okay, natural numbers, greater than 1 and less than 10. By this statement, greater than 1 and less than 10, this is the condition. So any number you're going to put in this set has to meet this condition. So here the definition is inclusive and exclusive. Only the elements that meet this condition should be included. Or write the set, a set of the students who are above 7 and less than 15 in the class. So if a student, his age is 6 or 5, he should not be part of the set. He should be excluded. If any pupil or student, his age is more than 15, should also not be included, should be excluded. So always, when you see the definition, it has to be robust. That only the elements that meet the condition stipulated will be included. This exclusion in Usul al-Fiqh called istithna or إخراج. For example, in Usul al-Fiqh, we have khas and am, the general text and specific text. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Ma'idah, حرمت عليكم الميتة والدم ولحم الخنزير. حرمت عليكم الميتة. So dead animals are made haram for you, prohibited, unlawful. So you have set of all dead animals. Any dead animal falls and enters this set, and it is part and an element of it. حرمت عليكم الميتة والدم, and blood. So there is another set. All types of blood are prohibited for you. Because the ayah is general. All types of blood, all types of dead animals. So you have two sets. Now the lawgiver makes exception, exclusion. So certain elements are going to be removed from the set. This, what we call exclusion or istithna, is the meaning of takhsis or specification. You specify. So you have the set of dead animals. The Sharia came and said 2 elements inside the set should be removed because they are halal for you. From among the dead, or the entire set, 2 elements, remove them. What are these 2 elements? The locust and the fish. You can eat them when they are dead. So from the main set, I hope that you are following and taking notes. From the entire set of dead animals, 2 elements are removed and we form a subset. Fish and locust. This is halal. These 2 elements were excluded, removed, because of the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. أحلت لنا ميتتان ودمان. 2 types of blood are made halal for us, and 2 types of dead animals are made halal for us. The dead animals, the locust, and the fish. And the 2 types of blood, liver and spleen. Okay. The rest of the set, elements in the set of dead animals, remain haram. The rest of the elements in the set of blood remain haram. Only these 2 small subsets, blood and liver and spleen, and locust and fish. Having said this, so the definition has to be jami' mani', totally inclusive and exclusive. Only the elements that meet the condition stipulated, the criterion set, should be included, and the rest should be excluded. So it's not just like that, anyone can come and write a definition. So here when Ahl Sunnah, they gave this definition because it is jami' mani'. It covers all the components of the Iman. So in this definition, the utterance, the conviction, the actions of the limbs, every element, there is proof for it in the Kitab and Sunnah. And that's what we're going to do, inshallah. So the proofs for the utterance that you have to articulate, you have to pronounce, you have to express it, your faith orally, because you have to talk, you have to say what you hold, what you believe, what you have on your heart. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah 136, قولوا آمنا بالله وما أنزل إلينا وما أنزل إلى إبراهيم وإسماعيل وإسحاق ويعقوب والأسباط وما أوتي موسى وعيسى وما أوتي النبيون من ربهم لا نفرق بين أحد منهم ونحن له مسلمون. The meaning, say, oh, you believers, we believe in Allah and what has been revealed to us, and what was revealed to Abraham, Ishmael, Isaac, Jacob, and his descendants, and what was given to Moses, Jesus, and other prophets from their Lord. We make no distinction between any of them. And to Allah we shall submit. Okay. Which portion of the ayah is relevant to the utterance? That the utterance is imperative, is a must. Do you know? The beginning of it. Qulu, say. Because the qawl is the utterance, articulation. Qulu amanna billah. So express orally your faith, your iman. You have to talk, you have to say it. Qulu. So this is the evidence from the Quran that I have to articulate, I have to express orally what I hold in my heart, because no one knows what you are having in your heart, what you hold in your heart, no one knows. So you have to tell us. That's why the kalima, the shahadah, you have to say it. If you didn't say it to us, you are not a Muslim, because you didn't inform us about what you hold in your heart and what you believe. That's why when you want to become a Muslim, you have to say it. And you say, I believe in Allah and all this. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. I believe in Allah and I believe that Muhammad is his messenger. So now we know that you entered the fold of Islam and you are one of our brothers and sisters. So this is the evidence. You have to say it. So it is one component of the iman is the articulation, the oral expression. If you are unable, you have to give us any indication to know what you believe in, either by writing or gesturing, whatever. Okay. You know the hadith of Mu'ayyib ibn al-Hakam as-Sulami. Mu'ayyib ibn al-Hakam as-Sulami, radiyallahu anhu, as in Sahih Muslim, he had a slave girl working for him as a shepherd, tending his sheep. And one day, the wolf took one of the sheep. And he felt sad and he slapped the girl in her face. And he came to the Prophet ﷺ and informed him. The Prophet ﷺ, he rebuked him, blamed him for doing that. So in order to expiate for his sin, he decided to emancipate her, to set her free. The Prophet ﷺ told him, no, just bring her first. So the girl was brought to the Prophet ﷺ, and the Prophet ﷺ asked her 2 questions. Where is Allah? Question number 1. Where is Allah? To check her iman. He said, in heaven. Fis sama. She said, Fis sama. Second question, who am I? He said, you are Allah's messenger. The Prophet ﷺ then said, اعتقها فإنها مؤمنة. After answering these 2 questions, the Prophet ﷺ now is sure that she is a believer. She knows her Rabb, she knows the deity that she worships, and she knows that he is the messenger of Allah. Then he tells her master, اعتقها فإنها مؤمنة. Set her free now. Emancipate her. She is a believer, mu'mina. So the qawl is a must. You have to say. قولوا آمنا بالله. Say you believe in Allah. وما أنزل إلينا وما أنزل إلى إبراهيم. And what was sent down to us and what was sent to Abraham وإسماعيل and Ishmael وIsaac وإسحاق. These are the two sons of Ibrahim alayhi salam, and the firstborn was Ismail. So Ismail is older than Isaac. And the descendants of Ismail are the Arabs, and from them the Prophet ﷺ. And the descendants of Isaac, Ishaq, are the Jews. Yaqub ibn Ishaq, Jacob, and his offspring. وإسماعيل وإسحاق ويعقوب, Jacob, والأسباط, the children of Yaqub alayhi salam, وما أوتي موسى وعيسى, and what was given to Moses and Isa alayhi salam, Jesus, the Torah and the Gospel. وما أوتي النبيون من ربهم, and what was given to the prophets before them. لا نفرق بين أحد منهم ونحن له مسلمون. We make no distinction between any one of them, and to Allah we all submit. So the evidence in the ayah, قولوا, say. So this is the evidence that the utterance and the articulation is a component and an element of the definition of Iman. Another evidence, Allah says in Surah Al Imran, ayah 84. قل, again, see, say. This is the evidence. قل آمنا بالله وما أنزل علينا وما أنزل على إبراهيم وإسماعيل وإسحاق ويعقوب الأسباط وما أوتي موسى وعيسى والنبيون من ربهم لا نفرق بين أحد منهم ونحن له مسلمون. Say, O Prophet, we believe in Allah and what has been revealed to us and what was revealed to Abraham, Ishmael, Isaac, Jacob, and his descendants, and what was given to Moses, Jesus, and other prophets from their Lord. We make no distinction between any one of them, and to him we fully submit. So, this ayah is another evidence for that the qawl, the utterance, is an integral part of the definition of Iman. You have to talk, you have to say it. That's why the hadith in which the Prophet ﷺ was pleading, calling his uncle Abu Talib to say it, to say the kalima when he was dying, because up to this moment Abu Talib is not a Muslim, and the Prophet ﷺ knows that, because Abu Talib, he never said that I believe that you are Allah's messenger and I believe there is only Allah to be worshipped. He never said that. He didn't express it. Though he knew that the religion, the deen that the Prophet ﷺ is calling the people to is the religion of the truth. He knew that. But he didn't say it. So here the Prophet ﷺ, he's seeing his uncle dying, breathing his last. So he asked him, Ya Amma, oh my dear uncle. This is Amma, is called Tarkhim in Arabic. Ya Amma, this is a form of a kind request. Ya Abata, Ya Amma, قل لا إله إلا الله. Say لا إله إلا الله. كلمة أحاج لك بها عند الله. Say لا إله. This word, this statement, which will entitle me and allow me to defend you and to intercede for you before Allah. Around Abu Talib was Abu Jahl and the rest of the mushriks who knew the meaning of La ilaha illallah. And many Muslims today, they don't know the meaning of it. The Prophet ﷺ was begging his uncle to say La ilaha illallah. So those around Abu Talib said, راغب أنت عن ملة عبد المطلب. Are you going to desert, abandon, shun the religion, the belief of your father, Abdul Muttalib? Because they knew if he says La ilaha illallah, that means he is disbelieving in the religion of Abdul Muttalib and in paganism, idolatry, etc. The Prophet ﷺ repeated his request, and they said the same thing. Oh, Abdul Muttalib, as if they are telling him, be careful, not the last minute you leave the religion of your forefathers. And finally, Abu Talib said, Ana ala millat Abdul Muttalib. I am upon the religion of Abdul Muttalib. So he died as mushrik. Mushrik. Chapter is closed. The Prophet said, I will pray for you and unless Allah stops me. Immediately Allah prohibited him to do so. So here the Prophet ﷺ was insisting, okay, that his uncle say it. But his uncle didn't say it, so now he cannot do anything for his uncle. And he said, I will pray until unless Allah stops me. And Allah stopped him immediately and told him, you cannot pray for those who died as mushriks. And he also revealed, إِنَّكَ لَا تَهْدِي مَنْ أَحْبَبْتَ لَكِنَّ اللَّهَ يَهْدِي مَنْ يَشَاءُ. Oh Muhammad, you don't guide whom you love, but Allah guides whom He wills. So here, the other evidence in Surah Al Imran, ayah 84, قُلْ آمَنَّا بِاللَّهِ. Say, you have to say it. Now, we know now the proof that you have to articulate, you have to say it. Because the Iman resides in the heart. Here, the conviction, the Aqidah. What is Aqidah? That set of beliefs which are here, tied, fixed in your heart. That's why it's called Aqidah, because it is tied from the root Aqada, to tie, to make a knot. The knot, when you make knot with the rope, is called Uqda. So something tied in your heart, that set of beliefs. You believe in Allah, the angels, their resurrection, predestiny, qada and qadar, etc. That's in your heart. And this organ, the heart, We don't know much about it, but it has multi-tasks and many things to do. What we know, it is this organ that keeps pumping the blood around the body. Allah said, no. There are other functions for the heart. And he described this heart that it becomes blind. It doesn't see the truth. كَلَّا بَرَّانَ عَلَى قُلُوبِهِمْ. The hearts are sealed. Small film, ran. The ran is called this thin film formed around the heart. So there is this layer that stops anything from penetrating, from entering. Because when you start sinning, every sin you commit, black dot in your heart until the heart becomes totally black. And this ran is formed. So now nothing goes inside. You hear the guidance, but it doesn't penetrate because it is sealed. So the heart becomes sealed, blind, doesn't see. May Allah save us from having blind hearts. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّهَا لَا تَعْمَى الْأَبْصَارُ ولكن تعمى القلوب التي في الصدور. Who's talking? The Creator. And who knows his make more than the maker? No one. The one who made the heart is telling us this. Said, not the eyes that become blind, but the hearts that reside inside the chest. He mentioned exactly the location, which means he meant it. So this heart has many functions to do. Only Allah knows. And no wonder that Allah singled it out. And he made it the place that he is watching all the time. Under his supervision, watchfulness. Allah is watching your heart. إن الله لا ينظر إلى صوركم ولا إلى أجسامكم لكن ينظر إلى قلوبكم وأعمالكم. Allah doesn't look at your complexion, your physique. No, he looks into your heart and your actions. يوم لا ينفع مال ولا بنون إلا من أتى الله بقلب سليم. The day that neither wealth nor children will avail you. Your children, your wealth will not avail you, will not help you. إلا except من أتى الله بقلب سليم. Except the one who meets Allah with whole, W-H-O-L-E, whole heart, healthy, Salim, heart that is free from all ills, no malice, no rancor, no grudge, no ill feeling, no envy, no jealousy, no arrogance. All these ills are not there. إِلَّا مَنْ أَتَى اللَّهَ بِقَلْبٍ سَلِيمٍ. Those are the ones who will be delivered, who will be saved. So the heart, we should focus on our hearts, and we should pay attention to what we hold in our hearts. Subhanallah. Many of you, they know the hadith. When the Prophet ﷺ one day, he said, now a man from among the people of Jannah will enter upon us. Then one of the Sahaba stepped in. He just performed wudu. His beard was wet, dripping with water. The water drops. And he said this 3 times. And it happened to be the same companion. Then one of the Sahaba, the young ones, he said, Uncle, I want to be your guest for 3 days because I have an issue with my father. He said, you're most welcome. Because this companion wants to know what is the secret. What made this companion, this Sahabi, unique, and he was giving this glad tidings, good news. So he must be doing something outstanding at home, which we don't see. So I want to discover the secret. So the night fell. He was expecting him to pray the whole night, but he didn't see anything. Just before the Fajr, got up, prayed a few rak'ahs, they went to the masjid. And every night the same thing. After 3 days, he said to his uncle, Uncle, I have no problem with my dad. But I heard the Prophet ﷺ 3 times telling us, now a man from the people of the Jannah will enter, and it happened to be you. And I didn't see anything different than what we are doing. So what is the secret? Why Allah singled you out? Why? He said, my son, nothing more than what you saw. But one thing, when I go to sleep, I forgive all the Muslims. I clear my heart. I reset my heart. I don't sleep while I have any grudge, malice, ill feeling, envy. All these things, I just clear my heart because I prepare myself to meet my Lord. So I don't want to meet my Rabb with the heart that is full of these evils. So that is the secret. That's the secret. So the question is now, everyone should ask himself or herself, what do you hold there in your heart? Love, kindness for your Muslim brothers and sisters, and for the non-Muslims, what you hold in your heart is hoping Allah to guide them. You feel pity for them. Everyone knows himself. Or that you have plans to take a revenge and to do this and that. So the heart performs many functions, many tasks. Niyyah, intention, nobility, the purity of this intention that you do things only for the sake of Allah, the ikhlas, sincerity. You do things sincerely for Allah and Allah only, because Allah will not accept from us any deed unless it is done for the sake of Allah, not for showing off, not for fame or celebrity, to become a celebrity and to become a sheikh and to have bodyguards and people are shaking hands and everyone wants to touch you. Oh, clear the way, clear the way, clear the way. By the way, my dear brothers and sisters, the da'is, this is fitna, fitna. The Salaf, they were run from this. Okay? One of the ulama, the Salaf, was teaching in the masjid. And when he finished, he left, they followed him, the students. Told them, leave me alone, go, don't follow me. There I teach you, don't follow me. So that people, they say, oh, this is Maulana, this is this is, say, leave me alone, go. I'm a human being, I don't want to have, huh? I have weak heart. So everyone knows. And I'm talking to myself, not to you. Allah knows what is there in your heart. Are you doing it for the sake of Allah or not? And if you want to know the secret of the success of the da'wah, it's here, the ikhlas. If you are doing things for the sake of Allah, Allah will bless your efforts. Allah will put barakah in your amal. And the da'wah will move forward. Nowadays, may Allah guide our brothers and sisters, the da'wah became business. Business. Okay? How do you expect Allah to bless it? Knowledge, you became money. You teach for this. How much are you going to give me? Sheikh, we want you to raise funds because you are influential and we want you to motivate the people to raise funds, to give out donations, to help our brothers and sisters. Okay, how much are you going to give me? What's the percentage? So you are worshipping dirham and dinar. Day of resurrection, nothing. Nothing. My dear brothers and sisters, we need to check ourselves. Don't boast, I have this number of followers. They will not help you. Allah is watching your heart. What is there? Ikhlas. Remember the three of the hadith of the three who got trapped in the cave? What was the cause? The secret that Allah brought them out. Ikhlas. Ikhlas. They did things for the sake of Allah. So when they were in trouble, they mentioned that good deed and they make tawassul by mentioning that righteous deed. that they did for the sake of Allah. So the rock rolled and they came out. And the first one with his cousin who came, she was in need for help. He said, no, I will not give you and help you until you allow me to sleep with you. She refused. She came the second time and she agreed. Now he was about to sleep with her. And a man, when he's in that position, is so weak. So weak. But when she reminded him, fear Allah and do not break the seal except in the lawful manner, the seal. Don't break the seal. When she reminded him, he left her for the sake of Allah. And the second one, as you know, he hired a man to work for him, and that man left without collecting his wage, his money. And he invested that money for him and bought animals. They multiplied. After a long time, he came back to him. He said, you remember, I worked for you. Give me my money. He said, you see all this flock of the cattle? They're all yours. He said, don't mock me. Give me it. He told them the story. And he took it all. And the third one, every day he milked the animals and give the milk to his parents. And one day the cattle came late. He milked them, but by that time his parents fell asleep and he didn't want to wake them up. So he spent the whole night holding the pot or the utensil or the container that was full of milk while his children were crying, and the whole night, and he's holding the milk, and his parents got up and he gave them the milk. So that's the ikhlas. This is another function of the heart. And my dear brothers and sisters, my advice for myself, okay, if you want to soften your heart, of course, the Quran, no doubt, and read about raqa'iq, read the works of Ibn al-Qayyim. Ibn al-Qayyim, he dissects and he tells you this is your problem, this is your issue. So read his works, and many of his books are there in English. The hub is another amal and another action of the heart, hub. This word hub in Arabic, it means something clear, transparent, white. So this love, this word hub, it is one of the actions of the heart. Hub. You love here. You love by your heart. And those who experience love, they know what I'm talking about. Because when they say love is blind, it is true, love is blind. When you love someone, you don't see his defects, his flaws, his shortcomings, or her shortcomings, because you love, so you don't see, because you love. And once you love someone, you will love whatever that one loves. This is the law of love. You love what your beloved one loves. Okay? And we, in Arabic, we have our stories like Romeo and Juliet. We have Qais and Layla. Majnun Layla. Qais, because he was in love with his cousin. He wanted to marry Layla, but because he mentioned her in one of his poems, so his uncle told him, "You will never marry Layla." And he went mad. Qais. His family, they took him to Haram to perform Umrah, say maybe he will forget Layla. And they heard him praying, "Oh Allah, intensify and increase the love of Layla in my heart." He passed by people praying Salah. He passed by them. He didn't see them. And when he was coming back, so they told him, "Why didn't you join us and pray? Why did you just pass by us?" He told them, "I didn't see you. Huh? I didn't see you." Because he was just in his own world. "I didn't see you. But you saw me. That means you were not concentrating on your prayers." Okay? If you were concentrating and having khushu' in your prayers, you would not have seen me. So the hub, it's a beautiful word. And now imagine that your love for Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, my dear brothers and sisters, deserves to be loved. He deserves to be loved because he's the most benevolent to you, most kind, most beautiful. You might love someone because of beauty or benevolence or because of kindness or because of helping you. Okay? And all these things Allah is doing for you. So he is entitled, he deserves to be loved. Subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah is the most beautiful. No one, Allah's beauty, no one can describe. Imagine Yusuf alayhi salam, he was giving half the beauty of the human beings, half. And because of that, the women, they cut their fingers. Imagine the one who created Yusuf alayhi salam. Glory be to him. Inna Allah jameel. يحب الجمال. Allah. Jameel. Most beautiful. And he loves beauty. His name's Husna. ولله الأسماء الحسنى فادعوه بها. The most beautiful names, Husna, belong to him. Husna, most perfect. Husna, reach the peak of Husn, beauty. May Allah make us among those who will look at him in the Jannah, see him. Ameen Ya Rab. Ameen Ya Rab. Ameen Ya Rab. Because the believers, they see Allah in the Jannah. وجوه يومئذ ناظرة إلى ربها ناظرة. That day faces will be shining. They are bright, beaming, looking at Allah in the Jannah. There is a day in the week in the Jannah, like Friday here. That is the day of visiting Allah, seeing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is a market in the Jannah where all the inmates, the inhabitants of the Jannah, they meet there. And then Allah appears to all of them and talks to all of them. And then they go back to their dwellings, to their places, palaces. When they left, no free mixing in the Jannah, no free mixing. The women, they remain in their palaces and they see Allah. And the men, they see Allah. Now they go back. Their wives, they tell them, and they tell their wives, by Allah, you are more beautiful than when we left you. And they would tell them, you are more handsome than when you left us. So the question, what made them more handsome and more beautiful? Because they looked at the most beautiful one, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So your love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and your love for the sake of Allah. Many of us will say, Akhi, uhibbuka fillah, I love you for the sake of Allah. It is lip service. It doesn't cost you anything. Because if you love me for the sake of Allah, then if I come to you and ask you for help, you will be there for me. So I think Zayn al-Abidin or another one of the Salaf said to his brothers around him, can one of you put his hand in the pocket of his brother and takes what he wants, and his brother will not hold his hand or stop him from doing that? He said, no. He said, you are not my brothers. When we read about the hub among the Salaf, amazing. Amazing. One of them came to the house of his brother. He knocked the door. The slave girl opened. He said, where is your master? He said, he is not here. He said, go and bring his safe, the box in which he keeps his money. She brought the box. He told her, open. She opened. He took what he wanted and he left. Her master came and asked her, did anyone come? She said, yes. She told him the story. He said, if it is true and that's what he did, you are free for the sake of Allah. He set her free. He felt very happy. The ulama, they said, the true brotherhood and sisterhood, that when you visit your brother in Islam and you sleep in his house, you go and visit him with your family, and you sleep with your wife in his house. You consider his house yours.
Oh, okay. Check.
Subhanallah. So where's the brotherhood or the sisterhood? Oh, sister, I love you for the sake of Allah. And your sister fell sick and you didn't go to help. You know she is sick. You should rush, help her, do the washing, do the cooking, sweeping, helping her. That is the real sisterhood. That's the real hub among Muslims. Imagine the Prophet ﷺ, he arrived in Medina. What he did? This is your brother, finished. One from the immigrants, one from the supporters of the Ansar is your brother. To the extent that the Ansari, the supporter, will tell his brother who came from Mecca, the Muhajir, the immigrant, I have my wealth, I will divide it into two halves, one for you, one for me. I have two wives, I will divorce one of them, so you marry her. That is the hub for the sake of Allah. The hatred, yes. من أحب في الله وأبغض في الله وأعطى في الله ومنع في الله فقد استكمل الإيمان. Yes, there is hatred for the sake of Allah. Remember the law of love. You love what your beloved one loves, and you hate what your beloved one hates, and your beloved one is Allah. Not that you love what Allah, those whom Allah hates, you love them. No. You love those whom Allah loves, and you hate those whom Allah hates. So here the Prophet ﷺ is saying, if you love for the sake of Allah. He who loves for the sake of Allah and hates for the sake of Allah and gives for the sake of Allah and withholds for the sake of Allah, then his Iman is perfect. He completed the Iman, perfected Iman. So this is another function, another action of heart. Then you have the khudu', this heart submits to Allah, prostrates before Allah. The submission. Allah says something, I hear and I obey. Nothing, no opposition, no resistance. فلا وربك لا يؤمنون حتى يحكموك فيما شجر بينهم ثم لا يجدوا في أنفسهم حرجا مما قضيت ويسلموا تسليما. فلا وربك, nay, by your Rabb, by your Lord. They believe not. حتى يحكموك, until they make you judge between them regarding their disputes. And then after you judge between them, you decide, they find no resistance or hatred for your decisions, your judgment. وَيُسَلِّمُوا تَسْلِيمًا, and they submit totally, wholeheartedly. So this khudu' of the qalb, submission. And then the ta'ah, the obedience. This heart obeys. Because it is the king. So if the king is obedient, the limbs, they follow the king. They follow the king. So it's another action of the heart. My dear brothers and sisters, unfortunately, we don't talk much about the qalb. We need to focus on our hearts and remind each other. So you can see now how many functions and how many actions the heart can do. The tawakkul, tawakkul is the cream of the iman, tawakkul, the pinnacle. You put your trust in Allah. وَمَن يَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ فَهُوَ حَسْبُهُ. Whoever puts his trust in Allah, that is sufficient for him. Allah, finished. I put my trust in Allah. Allah is my protector. Allah is my provider. Allah is my sustainer. That's finished. Put trust. I trust Allah. I know. The two things normally a human being is preoccupied with, two things that bother him all the time. His lifespan, and his sustenance. These two things, Allah guaranteed them for us. So a Muslim believes that he will not die before his day. So my day is fixed. So in this particular day, at this time, I will leave this world. Finish. Should not worry about it. Should not worry. I know I'm going to die. I know I'm going to die. Car accident, disease, anything. I will die. So I have to prepare myself for meeting my Rabb at any time. At any time. At any time I will be invited. My provision, my sustenance is also guaranteed when I was in my mother's womb. So I should not worry about it. Yes, I tie the camel. Yes, I tie my limbs. Yes, I look for my livelihood. After the end of the day, what Allah decreed for me, I'm going to get it. So this is calm, the heart. I know it. I don't worry. And that is when you have this serenity, tranquility, inner peace within yourself because of the thiqah, tawakkul from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah told Ibrahim, leave your son and his wife in this place when no human beings are here. Because he had trust in Allah. He left. His wife likewise, Hajar. He only asked one question. Did Allah ask you to leave us here? He said, yes. He said, go. Allah will not desert us. Allah will not leave us. So that's the tawakkul. You have this trust in Allah. So you don't worry about anything. When Sayyidina Abu Bakr was in state of fear in the cave for the life of the Prophet ﷺ, because he can see the feet of the Quraysh at the mouth of the cave. He said, "O Prophet of Allah, if one of them just look down, he will see us." I said, no, they will not see us. They will not see us. Because we are in the witness of Allah. في معية الله. Witness. Allah is with us. إذ يقول لصاحبه لا تحزن إن الله معنا. When he was telling his companion, grieve not, Abu Bakr, consoling and allaying the fears of Abu Bakr. Inna Allah ma'ana, Allah is with us. When Abu Bakr looked and he said, "Oh Prophet of Allah, we are followed. There is this knight riding his horse." He said, "Continue. He cannot harm us." And that was when forgot the name now, inshallah I remember, who was after the prize, which the Quraysh said, whoever uh, can find Muhammad, he will get this prize, 100 camels. I think Suraqa ibn Malik, yes. And now he is just seeing them. And his horse was running on solid land, rocky land. And guess what? All the fall of the horse sank into the ground. And he was thrown off the saddle. So he screamed to the Prophet. He shouted, "Oh Muhammad, I will leave you. So help me." So the horse managed to stand. He mounted his horse and followed them, and it happened 3 times. And the Prophet ﷺ is walking, and he told him, "Suraqa, eh? You will not catch us. Go back. Go back, and you will wear the bracelets, the bangles of Khosrow, the Persian emperor." The Prophet was wanted, and now he is promising the bangles of Khosrow, the Persian emperor. And the years passed, and the Prophet ﷺ passed away. Islam spread, the Muslims took and toppled the Persian Empire. The bangles were brought to Medina during the reign of Sayyidina Umar ibn Khattab. And Sayyidina Umar called Suraqa. "Suraqa, get up, give me your hands." This was what the Prophet ﷺ promised you. So tawakkul. And the homage and the fear, all these are actions of the heart. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala purify our hearts. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala fill our hearts with the iman and taqwa. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us remain steadfast in this beautiful deen until we meet Allah and find Him pleased with all of us. Ameen. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us our faults, mistakes, and ignorance. May Allah bless us with the beneficial knowledge of righteous deeds. May Allah unite our ummah in the haqq and unite our hearts in the haqq. And may Allah reward all of you, my dear brothers and sisters, immensely for your patience and attendance. Barakallah feekum. Jazakum Allahu khaira. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Ameen wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakum Allahu khair, Sheikh, for our lessons today in our Fundamentals of Tawheed class. For those of you who are watching, I mentioned this last session as well, that these sessions will continue to be on from now. There were some days that it had been cancelled, but from now forwards, inshallah, every weekend, 2 p.m. UK time for Saturday and Sunday, we will be having our classes. So please do not forget to join us on time from the beginning of the class so that you do not miss anything from these lessons. If you're not in the WhatsApp group where you'll be notified of any plans or times changing, you can join by texting the Al Fitrah phone number, which has been sent in the YouTube live chat, or you can subscribe to the YouTube channel and you can turn on the notification bells, and you'll be notified of whenever we are going live, maybe about 10 or 20 minutes before. We are also going to have our Q&A session in the WhatsApp group, so you can send your questions there and we will answer them live, or you can send your questions in the live chat and someone can forward them through, inshallah. Our first question for today, Sheikh. I'm assuming this is referring to a new Muslim, but if you could answer in regards to a new Muslim and someone who has been a Muslim their whole life. The questioner is asking, what is the permissibility of listening to the Quran, like an audio of the Quran, and reciting alongside it during a fard prayer and during a nawafil prayer?
You are listening to the Quran while you are praying?
Naam.
And when you are praying, you should not have anything that will distract your khushu' in the salah. Because if the Quran is recited, you have to listen attentively. And you cannot have two hearts together, listening attentively and focusing in your salah. So what you should do, if you enjoy reflecting and on the ayat of the Quran, the verses that you are reading in the salah, okay, the verses that you are reading in the salah, ponder and reflect on their meanings, and that will help you to have more khushu', concentration in the salah. Okay, so the Prophet ﷺ, he told the Sahaba not to raise their voices while reading the Quran in the masjid, because you will disturb the one who is next to you if someone is praying, etc. But if you are not in the salah, listen to the Quran and attentively. Okay, not that you are working in the kitchen and the Quran is played. No, you have to listen. I hope this is clear to all of you.
Jazakumullahu khair. And what would you say to someone who is new to Islam, who is playing the Quran so that they can recite alongside it while they are praying, so that they do not forget the ayahs, etc.?
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Just, first of all, our brothers and sisters who reverted, they should only focus on Surah Al-Fatiha. Try to memorize the Fatiha, and maybe in the beginning they can just write it on a piece of paper with the transliteration. Okay, so he or she can read it on that piece of paper until they memorize it, because that will sufficient for the salah, Surah Al-Fatiha. Any other surahs is sunnah, not fard. So, but listening to it outside the salah, because when you are in the salah, you have to focus in the salah itself, in the ibadah itself. Not that you are in the salah and you are listening to the recording. Okay, outside the salah, listen, and you will memorize, inshallah, and start with the short surahs. Next.
Jazakumullahu khair. The next question is asking...
Oh,
na'am.
listen in the salah,
Sheikh?
because
Sheikh?
reading.
Sorry, we lost you for a second. It froze. If you could start again from when...
I said, if you have a sister with you, for example, and who knows the Quran, so you can ask her to lead you in the salah, and you will listen to her recitation. Or the same thing with the brothers, a brother who reverted and has another Muslim brother with him and who knows the Quran. Ask that one to lead you so that you listen to the recitation while you are in the salah. Next.
Jazakumullahu khair. The next question is asking, what do we say to people who believe they should follow hadith and sunnah themselves rather than following the madhahib, or they think madhahib contradict hadith?
Well, you see, this issue, following a madhab. Okay. Is it mandatory that every Muslim should follow a madhab? Before answering this question, what was the father of Abu Hanifa upon? Father of Abu Hanifa. Was he Hanafi? Cannot be. What was the madhab of the father of Imam Malik, Imam Shafi'i, Imam Ahmad? So what is madhab? Those four imams, or four schools, they are the famous ones now. There were more than that in the history of Islam. Many madhabs were there. Madhab of Imam Tabari, madhab of Imam Awza'i, madhab of Al-Layth ibn Sa'd, many madhabs. What is the madhab? The madhab is what a particular scholar, okay, his teachings from what he learned from the Kitab and Sunnah and what he taught to his students. That was his way. That's what he learned from Islam. The rest of the scholars, their students were not, they were lazy. They did not carry out spreading the knowledge of their Sheikh. Whereas the students of those four imams, they continued spreading the teachings of their teacher. And that's what the madhab is about. And all these four imams, they said, telling their followers or those who learn from them, they should not be fanatic. All of them said, إِذَا صَحَّ الْحَدِيثُ فَهُوَ مَذْهَبِي. When you come across an authentic hadith, that is my madhab. Follow it. Don't stick to what I said, because I never, okay, and no one claimed that he understood and learned all the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. So that's why all of them, they said, if you come across a hadith and it is authentic and it is not in line and it goes against what I've said, follow the hadith and leave what I have said. Of course, they are talking to students of knowledge, talking to ulama. So here there are two extremes. One extreme says you have to follow one madhab and the entire truth only in this madhab. That is fanaticism. To limit the haqq only in your madhab, not in other schools, not in with other sources. Another extreme cancel the madhab. We should just read Kitab and Sunnah. Okay? Are you qualified to understand Kitab or Sunnah by yourself? Or you need to learn from the ulama and how the ulama who spend their lifetime explain the Kitab and Sunnah to you. So those brothers and sisters said, I just read Bukhari and Muslim. How are you going to read Bukhari and Muslim? Who will explain the hadith to you? And you are reading in English. And who told you the translation is correct and accurate? And you don't know Arabic. No, I know Arabic. Okay, good. How much knowledge of Arabic do you have? Have you mastered the 12 branches of the sciences of Arabic? Have you mastered Usul al-Fiqh? Have you mastered Hadith? Usul al-Hadith? Mustalah al-Hadith? Have you mastered the Usul? Have you mastered the sciences of the Quran? No. So that's why here the people are different levels. Layman, students of knowledge, advanced students of knowledge, a scholar, and mujtahid. So where do you fall? I'm a layman, finish. Layman has no madhab. They said the layman, his madhab is the madhab of the alim, the scholar in his country, in his area. The farmer in a remote area, in Pakistan, in India, wherever, the madhab and the school there and that, and what the ulama are teaching is the school of Abu Hanifa or Shafi'i. So this layman comes to Maulana in the locality and said, Maulana, I have this problem. What should I do? Do this. Finish. That's it. Chapter is closed. The layman. Because Allah said, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلِ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Ask the people of knowledge if you don't know. So if you are on that level. Students of knowledge, you are learning. So there's no problem in studying the madhab that is in your country, whether it is Maliki, Hanafi, Hanbali, Shafi'i, and study with the ulama in your area. And you, because you need to start somewhere and seek the knowledge on a structured way. Structured. Not that, oh, I have this library, I pick Bukhari, I read in Fath al-Bari, few pages, close. I pick Sahih Muslim, Nawawi commentary, close. You are not structured. And the years, they pass and you are lingering in the same area. So if you are studying with the alim, first of all, no mistakes, saving time. If you have a question, he answers your question. If there's a point that is ambiguous, he clarifies it. So students of knowledge, if he wants to become real alim, if he studies the madhab in his country, in his area, and develops, and then he will becomes advanced students of knowledge, and then he will become alim, and now he reaches a level where he will understand why the ulama differ and the reason, and because of this narration is not authentic, and he will get rid of all this fanaticism until he becomes scholar. And if he moves further, he becomes a mujtahid, and the mujtahid, he will not follow anyone. He will now qualified, and he will be able to mujtahid to deduce the rulings from the Quran and the Sunnah itself. And this is, of course, far-fetched target. If you see the ulama around us and those who passed away, you find that's how they sought the knowledge. That's how they started. Sheikh Nasruddin Albani Hanafi. He studied the Hanafi of Imam Abu Hanifa because his father was Hanafi. Ibn bin Baz Hanbali. Ibn Uthaymeen Hanbali. Ibn Taymiyyah Hanbali. Ibn al-Qayyim Hanbali. Imam Bukhari started Shafi'i. Bayhaqi Shafi'i. Ibn Hajar Asqalani Shafi'i. That's how the scholars started. So I hope it is clear to all of you now. So stop saying that I follow the Dalil. Are you telling me the 4 Imams are not following the Dalil? And you are following the Dalil? Actually, to be honest, when you say I'm following the Dalil, you are following actually what your Sheikh or what your Alim taught you, that this is the strongest opinion. So you are making taqleed in one way or another, and there's nothing wrong with that, because you have your own limitations. So you are following what Bin Baz said. So why you blame someone who followed what Abu Hanifa said? You're making taqleed. Or you're following Sheikh Albani, rahimahumullah. So students of knowledge, he will pass by all these stages, and that's natural and normal. I hope this is clear to all of you.
Jazakumullahu khair, Sheikh. It was beautifully explained. Our next question is asking, Assalamu alaikum.
This is the last question.
Okay, our final question for today. What should one do if they... I think this is a question we've had before, but I'll ask. What should you do if you wake up for the Fajr Salah during sunrise? So you slept through it and you are awake while the sun is rising.
If you woke up and the sun is rising and the disk is coming, don't pray at that time. Wait until the sun is above the horizon, take wudu and pray. Yes. But if you woke up and the disk hasn't appeared, rush and take wudu quickly. So if you manage to pray 1 rak'ah before the disk appears, then you manage to pray in time. I hope this is clear to all of you.
Jazakumullahu khair. And that's our final question for today. Sheikh, Jazakumullahu khair for joining us. It's always a blessing to have you here, alhamdulillah. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow, inshallah, on Sunday, and we look forward to seeing the rest of you tomorrow on Sunday, 2 p.m. UK time. Please don't forget, set an alarm if you can. Make sure you're here on time so you do not miss anything. But if you do come late, you can rewind after the live is finished. This will be uploaded on YouTube, and you can find all of our lives on the playlists on the YouTube channel. So if you miss any previous classes or if you miss anything, you can go back and rewatch, inshallah. Sheikh, if you have any final words, I can pass it to you.
Barakallah feekum, jazakumullah khair. May Allah bless you, bless your family, protect you, protect your family. May Allah elevate your status in this world and in Jannat al-Na'im. Ameen. Until we meet tomorrow, inshallah, I leave you in Allah's company and protection. في حفظ الله ورعايته. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
آمين وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.